Well, we are back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and this is going to be a video, this is more of a talking head video, but I wanted to talk about some things that might be troubling people. This video is essentially going to be talking about the feeling of FOMO when it comes to games like these, and my own account. I am a free-to-play player, so if you happen upon this video randomly, because you saw it in your recommended or something, you saw it on the browser, this is going to be talking about like a free-to-play's perspective on not only Bleach Soul Resonance, but just gacha. Because one thing I kind of want to make clear to people is you're going to see a video that I posted and it's going to be like, oh my god, Aizen, this character right here, he's a must pull and you should get his weapon because his weapon is crazy and da 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 da. And I'm not, me personally, I'm not pulling for Gin now because, I just hit Ikaku, and now that I have Ikaku, it means that I have a yellow, a thrust character, which means that I shouldn't be pulling for Gin if I've already got this DPS sorted out. And you're gonna hear me talk about stuff like that, and a lot of it is just in service of sort of fine-tuning, sort of optimizing the playing of these gacha games. But one thing I never do is optimize my own fun out. If you've played MOBAs, if you've played fighting games, if you've played anything competitive, you know all about optimizing the fun out of your games, right? A lot of people, when they're playing Uma, the horse racing game, they got burnt out because they were following all the spreadsheets. They were following all the, you got to do this and this and this, and you got to make this thing change. You got to do these things. And they were following all those guys. And guess what? Those people aren't playing 6 months later. And the worst thing you can do when a new gacha hits global is just completely stop playing, is burn yourself out and stop playing. So while we might be sitting here thinking, us as YouTubers, we might be saying like, oh, you have to pull for this to optimize. You have to pull for this. You have to skip this to optimize. Ultimately, if you're not playing in 6 months, then none of it mattered. You know what I mean? I say all of this, and I want to make this video because I think Bleach Soul Resonance has real legs. I play a lot of Dokkan. I've been playing Dokkan for 3 years. And one thing I would say about Dokkan is that if it was not Dragon Ball, which of the biggest shonen is the most instrumental for me, right? So it is carried by being Dragon Ball. If it wasn't Dragon Ball, I wouldn't be playing, Dokkan for as long as I have, right? A lot of people feel like that, and the reason that works for me, the reason I decided to start making these videos talking about YouTube, talking about Dokkan, and then now talking about Bleach Soul Resonance, is because I had a passion for the IP, for the, it was fun just experiencing the game, even if I couldn't be like the truth and pull every character and wail and stuff like that. I don't wail, right? And one of the things I always say in these games is, if I'm saving, you could be saving. You know what I mean? That's a little bit of like, it's almost like a catchphrase at this point, because I say pretty often, if I'm saving, you should save. Because it usually means that if I don't see something as worth it from a free-to-play lens, then the value of it probably isn't good enough to share with people who are watching these videos, right? Who just happen to watch these videos. And I'm endlessly thankful for the people who watch these videos. And because we're coming at it from a free-to-play lens, I think a lot of you guys come in here sort of wanting to see, well, what does it mean to be free-to-play in Bleach Soul Resonance? What does it mean to be mostly free-to-play in Dokkan Battle, right? I think it's important for me to sort of, pump the brakes. One thing about me, and you see this in comment sections for my Dokkan videos, for essentially the entire time people have been watching this channel, they like that I'm trying to cut a reasonable edge. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get on here and tell you that, Aizen, if missing Aizen is going to ruin your account. I think he's a must pull in the sense that if you have the currency, if you have, we as free-to-play players, if you have the currency, I think he's worth spending it on. Right? But, there's nothing that's going to brick your account in a gacha game more than just stopping. I'm currently in a spot with Dokkan where I get on, I do my dailies, I get my login rewards, and I close the game. I save all the missions. The missions can just be there. I don't need to do the missions right now. people treat these missions, people treat outside of like the limited time events, you know, if something like this is happening, you get on, you make sure you do your events because, you know, you're stacking up these, you know, rewards, and then close the game. I do it. Look, battle, supplies. Look at my energy. I've already spent down the nourishers. I spent them down. And it's because I was farming gear for Aizen. I was farming XP. I was farming all these things. And now that I've got Aizen and I've got his stuff leveled and he's level 70 and you know, you go to Aizen and he's got his stamps and stuff like that. Like, I haven't even done this. Why? You know, why waste the resources? I just farm those resources. Why waste the resources on, you know, pieces that aren't good enough when I could just close the game? I'll get them tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get, you know, this looks like a pretty good piece actually. I'll put that on. Right? Like, there's an upgrade. So now when I'm playing the game, I'll go, oh yeah, there's that piece I like with Aizen. If it hits ailment damage, I'll probably stop rolling on it. But if it hits crit damage, crit rate, or attack, I'll just keep rolling on it, right? These are the small steps you can take to sort of meter out your progress and set goals for yourself that aren't just, you know, I feel FOMO if I'm not level 65 yet. I'm level 61. This is the level you can be at as a free-to-play player if you're not spending jades on stamina. Because I'm not. Why? What am I going to spend the jades on to do? What is the thing that I am being blocked from doing in this PvE game if I spend jade? I still need to do more of my Frenzy Feast. I still need to do... No, I actually did this, I think. Yeah, I did this, I think. It was, you know, I got a bullshit score. Earlier today, I got my 5 tickets from doing 7-3 here. Aizen was able to push Shikai Ichigo over the edge. Nice, right? Nice, cool. I'm still not worried about this until, I mean, probably I get a actual red SSR. I'm not worried about it. Why push? Why try to force progress that ultimately doesn't mean anything? Because the funnest part of games like this is going to be getting it done and then getting to a point where we can actually like play out some of these cool like events, right? And then, you know, maybe go into like event challenge at some point and, you know, oh, I want to try my event challenge again. Maybe I can get score higher, right? Now that I've got Aizen leveled and geared. Like, it's going to come down to these fun events. It's going to come down to these, you know, getting to see these characters do cool things, to be realized in a way that is very unique to Bleach Soul Resonance. Like, at most, you know, at most when it comes to gacha games, you are waiting for the content to be metered out, right? You can't force the game to come to you. It's not going to, you know. The developers are going to release the content in content cycles, and we're going to play within those cycles. We can't force more content to just appear out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, that's a really big thing, I think, is that people think like, if I were just a little bit higher level, then suddenly the game would open up. And it's like, not really, man. Just chill out. You know, I've got the AI autoing this fight. I'm just gonna watch him do some cool stuff. Maybe I'll get higher than my own, you know, personal best now that I've got Aizen leveled up, right? Like, that'd be cool. But if not, then I know what I gotta work on. Oh, get Aizen his gear leveled up, right? Let's get some levels into his stamps. But yeah, that's the game. You know what I mean? That's like, that's the loop. So while this video doesn't really serve to like, you know, it's not attention grabbing, attention seeking. You need to do this. You need to do that. This is sort of one of those videos that's just important to make for the people who have made it this far, to people who have like continued to watch up to this point. I think it's just important to let people know sometimes that all this FOMO shit isn't real. It's fabricated by the gacha companies. They want you to feel like, oh no, I didn't hit Aizen. It's over. No, it's over. What am I gonna do? And I mean, the answer probably is wait until he comes back. I mean, it is what it is. They're just gonna release better characters. I think Aizen is probably the #1 character in the game right now, just for everything that he does. That said, I looked at the leaderboards. There are plenty of people not using Aizen on the leaderboards, and they're the whales pushing the hardest, right? Like, why are you trying to keep up with the whales who have like B6 Bankai Ichigos and Aizens, and you know, even they're not like using Aizen sometimes, right? Like, it's what are we really trying to force here by just like sticking to this like weird expectation of yourself as a free-to-play player. You have nothing to worry about, Gangy. You have nothing to worry about at all. Like, look at what this. I don't know if anyone else has seen this, but this animation is broken for me ever since the patch. I wonder what that is. I wonder if they're gonna fix that. Toshido, by the way, this is like a tangent from the actual video's main point, but has anyone had the Toshido issue where you're getting black boxes on his ice flowers when he ultimates? Like, that still hasn't fixed itself for me at all. Like, I still have that issue. Boom! Look at the girl. Whoa! What a big hit. Look at my girl, dude. That's that Awakening 6 core stamp. Thank you. Thank you for only giving me dupes of the core stamps that I already have. Thank you so much, game. Let's see here. Let's just go through the rest of this, and we're just gonna take it easy. Within switching characters, ultimate charge rate. Yeah, let's just do more damage. Why not? Aizen switches a ton in this team, so why not? But yeah, I don't know. I just felt prompted to make this video. It's the right time for this video because I know people are going to sort of be stressing. They thought it was Gin, so they were like, oh, I'm gonna get to save. A lot of people didn't re-roll for Bankai Ichigo. By the way, I didn't re-roll for Bankai Ichigo, but guess what? I didn't pull for him either. You know what I mean? Like, I just saved. A lot of people didn't do that. They pulled on Bankai Ichigo, then they pulled on Toshido, now they're pulling on Aizen, and it's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate because at best they should have re-rolled. Like, Bankai Ichigo, if you wanted him, should have been free. It should have only cost your time, right? Which is hard for people to hear, but it is what it is. And for me, I was like, I don't have that time, so I don't care. But I'm also not someone who minds that I don't have him, right? So, yeah, I think it's a good time to make this video just because I think a lot of people are in that position again where they're just like, they're regretting that they didn't push this, they didn't push that, they didn't, re-roll this, they didn't buy this, they didn't do this. It's chill, man. It really is chill. Even the person who's spending, $40,000 on the game since the game launched is probably playing like Fortnite right now. Because guess what? There's only so much content in the game. It's a new game. Your best bet if you want to play to the best of your account is just to be here in a year. Just be playing, be free to play in a year, and you will have infinitely more fun than banging up against this wall that doesn't exist. All right, I don't know. Look at Yoruichi doing her damn thing, man. I think Komamura has a lot of the same issues that Aizen has, just a lot of long animations, but he doesn't have the upside. I think Komamura is a perfect example of a character who is just like, I don't know what he exactly exists for now that Aizen exists, and it's kind of what I was afraid of when Aizen was revealed, that he wouldn't just be a spirit leader, because it makes sense that he would just lead spirit. But because they gave him the Gogeta treatment where they were like, you know what, instead of leading spirit, let's just make you the best. You're just going to be the absolute best, and no one's going to question you. And you're Aizen, so you get to do whatever the fuck you want. And it definitely does put characters like Komamura in a weird spot, because I don't get what he's for anymore. Like, I'm using him here, but I just don't know what you would use this character for if you did have access to like Aizen. And of course the answer is that you can't always have all these characters on the same team. It makes perfect sense. But in the case of Komamura, like, he just feels the most like a character that's waiting to get phased out, and that kind of sucks because he's cool within the realm of Bleach. I think he's a cool character. He looks super sick. He's fucking like, he's a wolf guy. Like, that's cool as hell. But yeah, I don't know. We got another sweep done there. Again, this is all autoed, so we'll see what I end up with, just letting the CPU do it. I hope this has been I hope this has been an interesting video to listen to. I hope you're enjoying hanging out with me here. Damage received plus 70%. That's too hard, right? Let's go full. But yeah, I hope this has like been an interesting video to sort of just come along with me on, and a lot of the things I'm saying make sense, and it's not like a weird like I don't know, like dissociation or what have you from the main point. I just see it a lot in Gacha. I see it a lot in Dokkan especially. And in Dokkan, it's interesting because I see it in Dokkan, which is also a PvE game. But in Dokkan, it actually does make more sense that, you know, someone would have this opinion that I'm stating, which is just that, like, oh, I need to get this, I need to get that, because Dokkan characters end up sucking really bad, really fast most of the time. And I mean most of the time. Which means that if you don't pull a character that you, like, want, you might not see that character again for a very long time. Whereas, I don't know, dude, I'm pretty sure someone is, like, pounding away at all of the tower floors on Yududu. Like, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you can just give these characters... And that's what having a gear system allows, is that you're really boxed in by, like, gear in a way. Like, oh, you know, I need to get lucky farming. But, I mean, one of the coolest things about gear, though, is because you do have to get farming, and because characters' strengths are, to some extent, at least tied to the gear system. A lot of it is their kit, but to some extent, it is also the gear system. Like, you end up with, like, a base for characters that is much different than Dokkan, where it's just like, oh, your Dokkan character sucks? Well, he sucks. Like, put him on a team with all the best characters and protect him, or he sucks. Whereas, like, in this game, you're gonna have characters that kind of suck, and you give them enough gear, and it's not really gonna matter. I've been campaigning for something similar in Dokkan for a long time, either, you know, just a revamp of the skill orb system or something, but as of present, they don't care at all, man. They don't care at all. So I am going to have to actually click counter on these, because the CPU is usually really bad at this. By the way, this is the Tozen boss I talk about a lot in this game. The CPU or my CPU Yoruichi is wasting her her ultimate. That's pretty sick. Yep, wasting all her stuff. I love it. Yep, there's another. So like I said, I'm doing all this because the CPU will just, like, waste all these opportunities. There we go. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird to be in a game like that. And I do think that part of it is probably that a lot of, like, Dokkan players or people who aren't super familiar with these PvE games, especially gear-based PvE games, they aren't super familiar with, like, how that shapes up, right? Like, they're probably used to, like, Dragon Ball Legends, where when a character's bad, they're done. Or Dokkan Battle, when a character's bad, they're done. There's no saving grace usually. They're waiting for an easy A, they're waiting for a buff. One of the coolest things about Bleach Soul Resonance so far is that we actually got confirmation that they are willing to buff characters. And not only, damn, she just fucking killed him. Not only that, but Jesus, girl. They're willing to buff characters who are already good, like Yoruichi. Like, I think Yoruichi is fine. We got a new record there. Woo woo. And that was predominantly just like auto outside of the counters. So now in the top 17%, we're not going to show up in the, you know, because it's like top 10% or whatever, but yeah, not bad. Like the top 100 is 182,281, and we're 10,000 shy of that. So, I mean, if I did this myself, maybe I could crack top 100. Like if I was actually playing instead of just letting it play itself. So that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, there's a great example. I wanted that to play out just to show you that, like, what are you missing by not getting these characters, by like not like, I don't know, by like pushing all the time, by using your Jade on stamina. I haven't used stamina on anything. Like, I haven't used Jade on any stamina at all. Like, what are you missing by like spending your Jade on your stamina? Who are you chasing? The whales? It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So yeah, hopefully this is a fun little talking piece. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the club. Thank you for watching, and peace out, man.